Hi, guys. All right. Okay. All settled. Hi, guys. I am Tish. I am a double diamond in this company. I am so excited for tonight. We have Jasmine speaking, we have Debbie speaking, and we have Kimberly speaking. So I'm super excited. These powwows are like, I make sure that I definitely get on these because I love hearing everyone's story. A little bit about myself. I have been with the company about 2.5 years. It's going to be 3 years in January. Um, a little bit about my background. I am a recovering addict. I was addicted to heroin and I moved down to Florida and I got married to my husband and everything was great. Everything was awesome. I was working in a deli and I actually liked that. I liked working with customers. I liked talking to people. I liked helping people. And that was like what I did there. I was the cashier. Everyone knew me. Um, and then in January of 2018, I um, my lungs, I started bleeding. I can't do this, so I like looking at myself. Hold on. I started coughing up blood in 2018, and I had to go to the hospital. And I had no idea what was happening. I ended up having holes in my lungs, and it was like super serious. I had to go on a PICC line to get antibiotics in my lungs. I had infections in different pockets. So I have 5 holes in my lungs still. They can't like be fixed. So I'm like, this COVID thing's like super scary, but you got to live. And I couldn't work anymore. So like, I remember going to work after getting my CAT scan, and my husband called the deli and they were like, the doctor's trying to call you. And like, I was at work, I didn't have my phone. And he was like, the doctor said it's an emergency. Like, he called me at work to call you to make sure that you got this message. Like, you need to leave work right now. And I was like, what? Like, what's happening? So they explained the whole procedure. I had to get a PICC line in my arm. I was on IV antibiotics for over a year. But I couldn't work anymore. And that was like the scariest thing to me. Not my lungs being hurt, not like coughing up blood, that I didn't have a job anymore. So I remember going home after I was in the hospital for 10 days in quarantine, and it sucked. And I was on my phone the entire time. I was on my computer, and I was probably looking at Courtney's posts the whole time, seeing how she bought a house, seeing how she was going to Spain, seeing how she was like doing all of these things. So I got home and it just like hit me. It didn't hit me in the hospital. It hit me when I got home, like that I couldn't go back to work and that I needed to reach out to Courtney, who I knew from high school, but we were just like party buddies in high school. And she went to college. I like went and did drugs, and somehow we met back together, and now we do this business together. But I was like, Courtney, what do you do? How do you do it? How do I do it? And then from there, it's been, I don't know, now we're best friends, and it's just like super awesome, and we make money together. But from this point in this business, I've grown a lot. A lot of stuff has happened since I started this business. I had lung surgery. They took a part of my lung out. I had a baby. My husband passed away. I am a widow. He passed away in November of 2019. So he passed away when I was 7 months pregnant. And guys, I'm telling you, like, this business has been like so good with personal development and like a community of people. Like, you're not just joining a team when you join this, you're joining a family. And like, these people were my family. Courtney and Sabrina, who like I met through this business. Like, Courtney I met in high school, but like we wouldn't have, not saying that we would never ever see each other again. Like, we wouldn't be this close if it wasn't like from me messaging her, and now we're like best friends. And then like I met Sabrina through Courtney, and it's just crazy. Sabrina and Courtney like drove to Pittsburgh for my husband's funeral. And Courtney was like in South Carolina or something before that, so she drove like a million hours in between. But like, those were them and my mom were the only people that I had there for like my side of the family besides Mike's family. And that's like, that just shows you what kind of community we have in this business. Like, it's crazy. So got to double diamond, and I'm going for triple, and I love this business. It's amazing. So a tip, oh crap. Okay, guys, hold on one second. 1 second. I'm sorry. I had it in my room.
We're pausing for a commercial break. I don't have a good commercial to tell you though. Sorry.
So sorry. I'm so sorry. I should have had this ready. Okay. Sorry, guys. So my tip for you guys is customer retention. I stay very close with my loyal customers, and I have thank you cards that I give to them. This welcome to our It Works family. It's a picture of me and Tyler, who's like the cutest baby ever. And it says, thank you so much for your support, becoming a loyal customer. Oh my God, I'm out of breath from like running to my room, the lungs. Our little family, thanks you. Thanks you. When you get a package, text me or tag me with a picture. I'm so excited for you. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm honored to be a part of your journey. Then it's just my name, my website, my phone number. I send them a little sample in there, but I send this with every loyal customer, and they order for more than 3 months, guys, because I am in contact with them and they're like a part of my life. So that's my tip, customer retention. But enough about me. I'm super excited to introduce our first speaker, Jasmine. So I'm going to mute myself, and then you can unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay. All right. So I just kind of wrote down a cheat sheet because I really suck at speaking and I'll be like all over the place. But I'm Jasmine. I'm 28 years old. I am a mom of 3. I am single, which I recently just became single within like the last 2 years. It's a long story, which we'll get there. I do come from a large family. I am one of 5 siblings. My mom was a single mom of 5. How the hell she did it, I really don't know. You know, kind of growing up, we come from like a rough patch because we actually became foster care maybe at like the age of 5 or 6 because my mom had dibbled and dabbled into drugs. At the time, I really didn't understand it, you know, because I was young. So we actually, my brother and I were placed together in a home, and we were separated from my sisters. And at the time, there was only 4 of us, so it was easier for us to be split. Sorry, that distracted me. So when my brother and I went together, my brother was just a little bit too feisty. He couldn't keep his hands off me. We were constantly kind of backing at it, you know, so we actually, the family no longer wanted us, really. It was just too much for them, which I get it. So I actually went with my dad for a while. My brother went to another home, and, you know, to this day, they still have a really strong connection, which is nice. So when I moved in with my dad, again, I was so young, I really don't know much about that, but I know that it was too much for him. So I ended up being placed into another home, which was like a family of 5. I had a sister and I had a brother, you know. They were more on the stricter side of things. You know, you had to eat all your dinner. If you didn't eat your dinner, then, you know, you had to sit at the table and wait for everybody to finish their food. And, you know, you couldn't watch TV, had to watch everybody, you know, dessert around you. I wasn't used to that. You know, I was used to whatever, you know. I could eat in my living room floor, you know, eat Cheerios off the floor if I wanted to. So, I actually really love the fact that our celery has a lot of amazing benefits, but I cannot do celery to this day. When I was in there, they actually tried to force feed me my own puke when I puked up the celery, so I just can't do it. It's gross. But yeah, eventually, I was only allowed to see my dad on the weekends when I was in the foster home. I was able to see my siblings because he would get them. We would do camping trips, you know, whatever. After time, my mom did get sober. She did get us back. It took a year, but you know, when I got out, we found out my mom was pregnant. She ended up having a little girl. So that was something. But let's see. you know, like, and then throughout that time span, you know, as we were kind of growing up, we lived in a trailer park. It was all, you know, it was a kind of like, it was what you made it. Us kids had fun, but the adults had their version of fun. So eventually that version just caught up to them, you know, and it all become a cycle of drugs. So then as we aged, you know, my sisters, my brother, you know, they all kind of fell into that category too. So I started falling off the deep end, you know, where I started smoking pot, or, you know, I started doing, you know, pills. And, you know, I never wanted to become that, because I always had seen what they had went through, and nobody wants to go through that. So I was always grounded. So I was my mom's built-in babysitter. So everywhere I went, my little sister had to chime in with me. So she was either snitching me out all the time, so I was grounded even longer. So, you know, again, I had my little sister with me because, you know, my mom, I would rather her be with me than with my mom on her drug runs. So we really just like formed a really good bond. As time had went on, we actually ended up getting a free trailer at the other end of the trailer park. My mom met a new boyfriend. We were literally moving our stuff in grocery carts because we lived next door to a Kroger. My mom couldn't afford anything, you know, she was a single mom of 5. So we were literally boxing and just pushing them all in Kroger carts, speed bumps and all. My mom ended up meeting a guy. I think at the time he was probably 25. Remind you, my mom was like 30 something, you know, so it was like, Mom, are you dating somebody close to us? You know, like it was awkward. But she was a heroin addict. He was a crack fiend, you know, so therefore, my mom was kind of the one that sat back in the sidelines and let everybody do the dirty work around her. So she was able to avoid a lot of the trouble. You know, she never was in jail that often. She was never, you know, she was just the one that sat on the side and people did everything for her, you know. So eventually, they decided they were gonna take, the neighbors next to us had moved out. So they decided they were gonna go in there and take the washers, the dryers, the stoves, whatever, you know, for copper or anything they can junk. Well, they left the junk on the porch. Cops came. Apparently, you know, it's all evidence right there on the porch. So they gave my mom the option, either she could leave her boyfriend and he would have to leave. You know, he did get charged, but she didn't want to do that. So we ended up having to move. So we all did move. They made sure to break every window in the trailer. You know, it was like some hood rat stuff. So we all moved to Felicity, and it was like a half a trailer, half a house. Those days I really don't remember a lot. I just know that that was my first time swapping to a new school. You know, it was different. It was like totally out of our element. We were all against it. We were there for maybe a couple months, but when we would wake up in the morning, we would see our mom. By the time we were getting out of school, you know, our mom was nowhere to be found. You know, the next time we seen her was the next time we were getting up for school. And there was not much confrontation because she was sleeping, you know. No food in the house, no groceries. You know, I remember making pancakes or corn or whatever we can mix together just to eat. Or we would walk down the grocery aisles in the stores and just open up a cheese crackers or something, you know, stealing tampons, whatever we needed. You know, we would go to the mall and steal our clothes for school because we didn't want to like walk around with holes in our, you know, clothes or smoke or kerosene. And yeah. So, you know, it was always a fit for survival. And it was all of us siblings were always looking out for one of another, you know, like we were making sure everybody had their stuff, going to churches just to get school supplies, whatever we had to do. So eventually we ended up moving again. So we were no longer in the Felicity area. We actually went back to the same trailer park because we had known somebody, and now he's like a grandpa to us. Before he was just a friend. Can you please go? Sorry. So he was just like a really good friend, and he opened us with welcome arms, and you know, it turned into where we were always begging for money from him because we didn't have anything, and he, you know, did, and he was just so kind, and he did it. And not only did he do it for me or my mom, Actually, the first time we ever used my mom as an excuse, we said she needed money for Depends. She would have killed us. But, you know, so he really became close to us. And, you know, eventually over time, my mom, she was like really bad off with drugs. She didn't care. She would nod out with her cigarettes. You know, it was embarrassing for us because we would bring our friends over. And the only thing we can do is laugh at her because we were so embarrassed. It was better just to make fun of her versus, you know, like trying to like act like it, you know, it hurt us. Like it was just a thing, you know? So eventually my sister, my younger sister actually, she became pregnant. She was 15, so that was very big news on our family. Her baby actually, they told her had a brain tumor, and it turned out it was spinal bifida. She had tried to terminate during the pregnancy 2 times, but she actually had to carry full term due to a bunch of complications. So when her baby was born, it really took a toll on everybody. Again, it was kind of like my mom didn't care as much because she came to the hospital high, and you know, my sister's baby died 4 days later. She was on life support in the NICU. She had a sac on her neck like the size of your palm, a enlarged head, you know, so that was really sad. And you know, at that time, my dad wasn't really in the picture throughout all those years, you know. After foster care and stuff, he really just kind of stepped away. So when my sister became pregnant, that's when my dad really kind of stepped back into the picture. When he came back into the picture, it was kind of like weird because we ended up moving in with him after my sister and I like lost her apartment or whatever, because I ended up moving in with my sister at a point in time where she was doing really good. And this is my younger sister, by the way. I have so many of them. So then when we moved in with my dad, it kind of started like, I was young. I was in my partying days, you know, I was like 19, 20. And my mom, actually, I got a phone call from my sister. You know, my mom, my brother, and my sister all used together, heroin, all used. So therefore, it was always, we were waiting for that phone call, you know. You kind of prepare yourself for it because it's like a game of Russian roulette. And I gotta shut this door. So I can't really tell you how many times I got that phone call stating like, mom overdosed or, yeah. So, you know, getting that phone call saying like mom overdosed, or, you know, mom was in a car accident, or mom was this, or my brother this, or my sister this, you know, it was just always something. So when my older sister had called and said, hey, have you talked to mom? I haven't heard from her, you know, like it kind of raises alarms. So my sister and I were like, all right, well, we're going to leave dad's. We're going to go check on her, you know. So we get there. When we get there, she's not answering the door is locked, you know. We're like, okay, well, we'll just ride up to Dennis's work, grab the work or the house key and come back and, you know, just check. So we did that. The deadbolt was locked, so by then it really raised alarms like, what the hell's going on? So our dog wasn't barking, you know, we couldn't get in the windows, trying to look through the windows. We had no choice but to go back up and get that deadbolt key. By then, my little sister was just getting off the bus. She was 13 at the time. And then my other sister had pulled up, you know, so it was really just me, my sister, actually me and my 3 sisters. We all walked into the house, you know, and my mom's laying on the kitchen floor. Unfortunately, she did pass. It was drug related because we didn't want my little sister to know, like we didn't want her to see because she was so little, and she wasn't like, she knew, but she didn't, or she didn't know a lot of details about it. So we had disposed of the needle, and we didn't want to, you know, tell anybody because we didn't want to get in trouble for tampering with evidence. You know, we didn't exactly tell the truth. So when the cops were investigating and stuff, my sister, actually, my older sister, she kind of went off the deep end. My brother, by the way, he's in prison. He was in prison at this time because of drugs. Every little deep like thing that he got in trouble for was all because of drugs. So my older sister kind of went off the deep end. You know, she had, at the time, she had 2 kids. She wasn't the very best mom at that time. She actually ended up disclosing some information about my mom's death and how we had found the needle and, you know, yada, yada. So she ended up going to prison for that. How she was the only one, I really don't know, but she did get charged for like obstructing justice and something else, you know. So at this time, I'm like going through a whole custody battle with my little sister. Like, she's 13. So who's going to take care of her? My sister Amber actually ended up taking her in, and it just became a little bit too much for her because, you know, she was young too. Mentally, I was probably a little more stable than the rest of them. So at that time, I ended up saying, well, you know, I'll take her. Her dad was trying to fight because she did have a different dad. So he was trying to fight us for custody. I don't think he was really in it for the right reasons. I think the reason why is because he didn't want to have to pay that child support. He never came out to see her. You know, he would tell her he was sitting Christmas in a FedEx truck and nothing would ever come. You know, she was always like let down. So, yeah, when my mom ended up passing away and my sister went off the deep end and stuff, you know, she actually started multiple counteractions where fights, you know, and when you're so close with your siblings, you know, you're of course like, well, I want to have her back, you know, regardless what she did, you know, she's still my sister. So I ended up actually breaking up a fight between her and a bunch of people where, I mean, crowbars, baseball bats, you name it, was brought out. Things just started getting way too serious. My sister was on a girl-on-girl fight, the only 2 girls there. So my sister and I had jumped in to kind of split that up. And I guess at that time, that guy's sister thought that we were trying to jump his sister. So I ended up getting sucker punched in the face by a guy, broke my nose. I had 2 black eyes. I ended up going to my mom's funeral like that. Which was kind of shitty because I had long distance family. I haven't seen them in, you know, years. They do stay in contact with us, not as often as I would like them to, but they try. So I went to my mom's funeral with glasses because I was so embarrassed. My nose literally was like laying on my cheek, guys. I'm not even kidding. It was really embarrassing. I didn't know the guy from Adam and Eve, so when I tried to do anything like legal wise, I couldn't point him out in what do they call it? It's like a, they place pictures together. You guys know what I'm talking about? Yeah, yes, lineup. So I couldn't picture him. So he never did get charged. So then after that, my mom had passed away and stuff like that. We were going through that whole spiel. I didn't quite exactly have my sister just yet. So I was going through like a whole party stage. You know, I just didn't know how to feel. So I actually ended up getting an OBI. I was trying to leave a party that night because everything just got crazy. Fights were breaking out. I didn't want to be there. I felt like I was completely capable of driving. I don't ever recommend it, by the way, guys. Call an Uber. They got it now. Then they didn't. So I ended up leaving that party. Cops were already there because of fights, so I'm sure that's major reasons why I got pulled over. But I ended up getting charged for an OBI. I did 3 days of Camp Allen.
Hey, you want a bowl of ice cream?
No.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you. So after that had happened, I ended up meeting my then boyfriend. He was actually a correctional officer. Really weird, right? I worked at a tanning bed, and he had a skin disease, so he came there, and you know, we just kind of started talking, and it was really weird because I was coming from a family that was totally different from him, and you know, I felt like I had so many flaws, like I wasn't being myself, you know, I was hiding who I really was because I'm trying to impress him because wow, somebody, you know, he's a corrections officer, like, you know, he's got his shit together. I need that, you know? So we actually became pregnant very fast. So in that time span of becoming pregnant, I had just became pregnant. I had custody of my 13-year-old sister. my sister Jessica was going through her spiel, and she lost both of her kids because she went to prison. So who's going to take her kids, you know? So a big thing about me is I got way too big of a heart, guys, like really. And I have a hard time saying no. And I ended up taking on my other niece. So my oldest niece, and then she had her little sister, but luckily my other sister had taken her. It sucked because we did have to divide them, like, you know, coming from a divided, or, you know, when we were in foster care, it was nice to be kept together, but because we were sisters, we, you know, we hung out a lot, you know, so it wasn't like they were really apart. And plus they were young, they didn't really understand. So I ended up having myself pregnant, my sister, and my niece. And Josh, he accepted it, you know, he was there. So I really like was thankful for that. So I ended up getting, we got our own apartment. And then as time went on, I ended up, we went to a Brown County Fair one night, and I was with my friend, and I got into some trouble at the Brown County Fair because it was the first Derby night. And if any of you guys are from Ohio, Adams County area, you guys all know about that Brown County Fair. It was a really busy night the first night. It was the demolition derbies. There was no spots in the bleachers. You know, I was doing exactly what everybody else was doing, but this officer just decided to come up and pick on me, you know, and it ended up to where he was making us leave. What it was is I had a kid on my shoulders. I was trying to let him see the Derby Fair, and he had asked us to move down. We did, but apparently we didn't move down far enough, and he come back, approached us, and told us, you know, like, to move on down. All I said was heard ya, and that was enough for him to be like, okay, you guys need to leave, forcing us out, kick me in my heels, yank, you know, like, as he was kicking me in my heels, you know, I turned around and I dropped the F-bomb at him because by this time I'm mad. And he ended up telling me I was under arrest, and I got charged for a disorderly. And, you know, him and my boyfriend at the time were kind of going back and forth because, you know, he's like, oh, I work for Hamilton County, and, you know, you're in the wrong. And he's like, well, I should call your lieutenant, da 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 da. Anyhow, I ended up going to jail that night. That wasn't for me. I'm just letting you know I'm not made for jail. So I ended up getting out that night, and by then that's when I really found out I was pregnant. You know, yeah, I told you I get jambled. This was before I had my niece, guys. I didn't have any kids at the time, so that was part of my party days. I got my niece, I got my sister, my shit started coming together. You know, I was pregnant. I had no choice but to get my shit together. So after that, I had my firstborn son, and he actually contacted maybe 7 days after birth, HSV1 meningitis. I took him to the pediatricians 2 times before I even knew that he was severely ill. They told me everything was fine, but there's something about that motherly instinct that you know something's not. So when I took him to Children's and they checked his pulse ox and everything like that, he was, I mean, his oxygen levels were like 70. You know, he was 7 days old. So they automatically threw him in the trauma room, cutting his shirt off, ventilating him, asking tons of questions. Out of all people, they sent the chapel to talk to me. I was freaking out. Josh's mom, she's still very, very close to me to this day. And she came down to the hospital. Josh ended up leaving work, you know. I ended up having a cold sore, and I was through so much stress. I actually had 2 blood transfusions and an episiotomy. I was in labor forever, forceps. I mean, I ended up demanding 2 C-sections after that first birth. It was that bad. So sorry if any of you guys are pregnant for the first time. I'm not trying to scare you, but it's, yeah. So we ended up finding out what was wrong with him. He spent a month in the hospital on a PICC line on a severe antibiotic. He was in the intensive care unit for probably a week until we got moved to a regular floor. When I got out of the hospital, I actually found out that my boyfriend had to take a DNA test on another child that was only a week older than my child. I'm like, what the hell? What? No. So, and I was very jealous, let me say, because I wanted a girl so bad, and this little girl's a week older than my son, and it's a girl, you know, and like, you want to know what the crazy part is? I went to the same baby doctor as her, and She had the same timed appointment, y'all, and she played her niece or her son played with my niece, and they never said anything. There was never awkward tension. I would have never known if she had never said anything the night that we all met up, because, you know, we went to a DNA. She talked shit because I went with him to do the DNA testing. And, you know, we kind of feuded a little at first. Of course, I mean, that was big news to me. I was like, what the hell? Turns out it was positive. I should have left him then, but I didn't, because I had tried to think about, well, you know, he stuck with me while I had my niece and my sister. So, you know, I guess I owe it to him, but still, fuck you. I was mad. So after that,
Jasmine, I'm so sorry. Can we, I just don't want anyone to like leave when it's,
okay.
Can you talk about like why you joined the business and stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
So really, I ended up becoming single mom of 3. Josh ended up cheating on me with a girl from work. We had just had another baby, you know, and I ended up, he left me for a girl at work, and I didn't have any income coming in. Like, I was working in a nursing home, PRN. Anyhow, he ended up doing that. I had no choice but to move. I didn't know how I was going to pay the bills or anything like that. And then, you know, my sister introduced me to Courtney, and I just said, what else more did I have to lose? And I kind of just jumped in it and didn't really know what the hell I was doing. I'd never done anything like this before. So, yeah. So, a little advice from me is, don't let any no discourage you. You know, try to see the light in every situation, because one no doesn't mean they're telling you you can't do this, because you absolutely can. It took me 7 months, guys, to understand like what I was doing, to build that confidence. And when I was talking to Courtney and she said, you know, you're gonna develop, you're gonna self-develop. I'm like, how the hell? I mean, like, I never went through counseling, nothing like this. I felt like it was a sign of weakness, which it's not, by the way. But since I've started this business, I can't tell you guys like how much it's done for me. It's not just about the finances, it's about the mental health, like, you know, how much better it makes me feel. I'm genuinely happy, and it really is because of this business. So do your host post, listen to your mentors, add them as friends if you have to, and creep their Facebook, get onto Jade's, use her life post. Go to Passport to Diamond, there's life post in there that I steal and I tweak. You know, just find something that fits you. Obviously make it you, but we're all here to help. We're a team. So anybody, get on their page and just steal something. So, all right.
Yes. Thank you, Jasmine. Oh, and your like attitude's just like so positive. I love it. And you're just like doing this with kids running around in the background. That's just life.
Yeah.
So thank you so much.
Yeah.
And now we are going to go on to Kimberly.
Hey y'all, can you hear me? Okay. I'm Kimberly. I'm nervous. I don't know why, but growing up, I was always the poor kid in the neighborhood. We wore, you know, stuff from thrift stores and didn't really have what everybody else had. But I always knew that I was different. Like I wasn't like all the other kids that I hung out with that were, you know, poor and didn't have all the luxuries that everyone else did. When I was young, I knew I wanted to cheer, but my family didn't have the money to pay for it. So I had to kind of give that up for a long time until I got old enough to where I could get a job and thank you. And actually pay for my own cheering and stuff. I only had one sibling growing up. She actually passed away about 2 years ago due to drugs. She was addicted to crack cocaine for a long time, and she had a baby. And because of her long-term drug use, she had got a bad infection that spread to her bloodstream, and of course she couldn't fight it off. So now we have a 2-year-old little boy that I'm so thankful for, that she had right before she passed away. He was actually 6 days old when she passed away. But when I was like 17, I am a recovering addict. When I was 17, I had a bad car accident. I don't know if you can see, but I have a scar on my face. I had 3 reconstructive surgeries on my face from where I went into the windshield. And that's where my life dramatically changed. I was prescribed prescription pain medication and didn't realize how much it would actually affect me until 5 years after taking it. It triggered my addiction. I've been in recovery for about 2 years now, from meth and heroin, and I don't know, it makes me want to tear up just thinking about it, because if you think about the lowest person in the world, I was that person at one point in time. And to have my son living with me now and be able to actually be on this Zoom right now and be coherent enough to talk to you guys is just amazing to me. Losing my sister is really what opened my eyes to wanting to get clean. I was in jail when she passed away. And up until she had passed away, I was still stuck in that same mindset of, I just want to party. And she passed away, and it's like, it sounds crazy to say, but losing her saved my life. It really did. Because from that moment on, I realized that I saw the pain it put my family in. I saw how hurt everyone was. By losing her, I couldn't do that too. So I decided to get clean. I did go to rehab. I stayed 9 months in rehab. Tough, tough, tough. But it's ultimately been the best thing that I've ever done for myself. I've only been with It Works for about a month, but I have won my shopping spree. And really, I joined to be able to travel with my son, because my son has very expensive taste. He's much like I was as a kid. His dreams are so big, and I don't want to be the one to tell him that he can't. If he wants to do something and he's passionate about it, I want to be able to help him get there. So I really joined to be able to take him places and show him things that I didn't get to see growing up. I didn't actually get to go to a beach until I was grown. So I want him to actually experience those things. My advice for all of you is just post daily, even when you don't feel like it. I was sick. I've been sick for like the last 2 weeks. Thank God I'm finally getting better. But even on the days that you don't feel like it, go ahead.
All right. Kimberly? Okay. She comes back, we'll have her.
And set a schedule. Maybe you don't just talk, but you don't.
Kimberly, you're like in and out. I didn't know if it was my internet. Where'd she go? Where'd she go? Where'd my girl go? Oh, wait, she's right there.
I'm right here. I don't know what happened.
It was just the internet connection. No bigs.
Yeah.
Go ahead, girl.
Okay. I don't know what y'all didn't hear.
I heard post daily, even when you don't want to.
Yeah. Schedule your live posts for a week. Get it all planned out. That way, when the day comes that you don't feel like doing anything, it's already right there. And your mindset makes the biggest difference of anything. If you keep a positive mind, take that 10, 20, 30 minutes in the morning to do affirmations or to listen to a podcast. It helps. It really does. I can tell the difference when I wake up late and I don't have time to actually take time for me. It sends my whole day off track. That's all I got.
Kimberly, thank you.
Thank you.
Little sweet thing. All right. Yeah, post daily, guys, because even when you don't want to, like, I use the app OneNote, and I have posts in there that, like, when I'm feeling real crappy, I post. I remember, like, you're gonna have shitty days, you're gonna have crappy days, and sorry, but like when my husband died, like, I remember my first post, like posting it, the first thing, like, I didn't want to, like, you had to have that time, right? And even when you're having shitty days, like, be real about it and say, like, I'm having a crappy day, but this is what I'm doing about it. I remember Courtney bought me a journal, and that was my first post. And it's like so vivid because it was so hard for me to write, but I was like, I need to, like, be positive. And then someone messaged me today and asked me to speak to her sister-in-law because her sister-in-law lost her boyfriend while she was pregnant. That, like, you sharing your story that stuff's gonna happen when, like, other people, like, when you're a positive influence in people's life, like, that's just gonna happen. But so yeah, post daily, post about the business, post about your life. I would always like to say, like, have 3 things that you want your followers to know about you. Like, people know I like coffee, that I love my freaking son, and that I'm a single mom, and the coffee that I drink, it's skinny coffee. All right, sorry guys, I got on a rant. All right, next up, got a special place in my heart for this one, Debbie. And Debbie is a rock star. So Debbie, you are up.
Can y'all hear me? Can you guys hear me? Yeah? Okay. All right, guys. I don't even know where to start. I am probably one of the most shy people out there. I'm a mom of 4. Their ages are from 27 to 10. I have 2 still living at home with me. When I started this, I've been working for Albertsons, a grocery store, for 30 years this year. Rocky's actually in the house. Sorry, guys. He was being bad. So he's inside. But I was working at a grocery store, or I still am, as a front-end manager. I also was I was doing 2 roles. I was being the bookkeeper, HR, and then the front-end manager position. And I did that for about 2 years. Made good money, but it was really stressful. About 2 years ago, though, we had a new store director come in, and when he came in, my world kind of turned upside down. He decided that they were going to demote me. I took on just the bookkeeper, the HR role, and they moved somebody else in from another store without my knowledge. And I took a massive cut in pay. It was $6 an hour. It was about $11,000 a year cut in pay. So that really hurt. It killed my ego. It killed my confidence. And for me, confidence, I've never been strong in that confidence area. I grew up with a father who was an absolute monster. That man was mentally, physically, and sexually abusive to me. He would tell me things like, you're never going to amount to anything. You're never going to make anything of yourself. No man's ever going to love you. I remember Christmas times, he would buy all the other part of the family. He would buy them all Christmas presents. And I would be sitting there watching everybody open presents while, I didn't get anything from him. As a child, you think your parents they're supposed to be there to protect you. They're supposed to be there to nurture you, to build in, those things that make you who you are. And that man really, he broke me bad. So when this happened with me at Albertsons, I didn't stand up for myself. I just kind of took it. And that's the way I've always been. My first husband cheated on me. My husband now cheated on me. I'm still with him, but he did. And I just never was somebody that spoke up. So I also had an issue, or I still have an issue with weight. Saw Tish. She's amazing. She's just absolutely amazing. Love watching her. She had posted about the TFX, and I decided I was going to give that a try. I kind of been up and down with my weight. And then a little while later, I kept watching Tish, and she posted about the job opportunity. And I thought, well, that might be my answer to, Albertsons, the cut and pay. Maybe this will help us. Maybe it'll help pay some bills. It'll help us, buy some groceries, whatever the case may be, just some extra money. But guys, it was so much more. It's been so much more. I've learned so much about myself. I've been on Facebook forever. I had no idea until I joined this business how negative a person I was. The negative vibes that I was putting out there in the universe. I didn't have any clue what the law of attraction was. I lost my mama. I lost my grandmother. So I was a very negative person, and I had no idea, absolutely no idea how negative I was. And I still struggle with that from time to time. But I've learned through this tools to get me out of that, funk. Personal development, that's amazing. I mean, whether it's reading Rachel Hollis or Trent Shelton or, doing Jade's podcast, just getting into, Zooms with everybody. I don't have a whole lot of friends here locally, but I can turn into it to, just plug in and see you guys and to see how inspiring you are. One thing that I'm going to say, everybody's kind of said, the tips that you could to take into this. I guess everybody said, making sure you're doing your host to post, posting daily. My thing is, don't give up. Don't give up. I'm not a quitter. I'm not going to quit. I put up with Albertsons for 30 years. I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to get knocked down, but it's not going to keep me down ever. I will keep trucking. That's all I got.
I don't even know what, oh my God. It takes a lot for me to cry on a Zoom. I'm just saying. Debbie, you warm my heart. Oh my God. I can't even speak, guys. Can someone else take it? Courtney, can you take over? I'm sorry.
Yeah, look at me. I'm on the spotlight video now. I guess I gotta sit like this so I don't have a double chin. Okay. There we go. Oh my God, my eyes are red. I was crying. Guys, that was so good. So the key thing that Debbie was hitting on at the end there is that she says, basically Jasmine said it in the comments too, that this is can be so much more than just that income for you, right? We know the daily tasks that we can do to keep building a business and have that income for ourselves and have that income for our families in that future, and then help other people do the same. But in the process, you're learning so much about yourself. And like Debbie was just saying, she's like, I learned these tools to help me realize that I'm worth it, right? I'm worth it. There's already been so many people throughout her life that told her that she wasn't, you know what I mean? And could you imagine just that happening? For me, I'm so glad that I said yes to this business. I'm in the same situation as her. Like, I've been through shitty situations before, and I've always said, oh, it's because of this and because of that, and made excuses for other people and how they treat people. And that's not okay. And this business gave me that like toolkit to understand that people can be horrible, and that's not because of me or anything I did wrong. It's because of just something wrong with them, honestly. So we learn so many things about ourselves, and we learn like who we are as a person, and that what we deserve, and the people we value in our life. Because for the longest time, I always had the worst friends. Like, I've always had people that would just like let me like make me feel like crap, and that's not okay. And if you're brand new in this business, or you just started recently, if you don't know by now, we will never let other people in your life, even if it's like someone close to you, treat you like shit, because you deserve better. And you're going to learn that through journaling, listening to podcasts like Debbie was just mentioning, and then honestly just like being part of this community. So Tish touched on that in the beginning, having this like team here when she was going through hard times. It was so much more than just, hold on guys, sorry. It was so much more than just a business, right? She developed like this group, this community to help her and support her. And then you have Jasmine literally said the same thing. It was a lot about personal development. She's changed so much as a person. And then you have Kimberly, who's brand new, talking about how this like in a month, guys, less than a month she's been doing this, she's already like found a community to be a part of, and she's posting, like, go check her posts out. She posts amazingly every single day. And then Debbie hitting it home with this whole Zoom is basically based around personal development and everyone growing together, whether you've been in this for a couple weeks or you've been in this for over a year. Like, there's no time limit. There's no time minimum to grow as a person. I honestly believe as soon as you say yes to this, and this goes for anyone you guys have on your team in the future, the moment they say yes to you for this opportunity, they're going to be plugged into this community, and they're going to learn so much about themselves right in that first day. That first day when we tell them to watch The Secret, that first day when we tell them to start journaling, we tell them to listen to podcasts, that's when their whole world's going to be changed. And that's because of a yes, one choice. We make that decision. I was talking to someone earlier saying that I've been having kind of a bad day. I went live on the team page today. So if you didn't watch that yet, definitely go check it out. But I talked about, I'm being transparent. Like, I've been having like mental health issues this month, and it all comes down to making that decision to have that good day, making that decision to plug into yourself, plug into that personal development, fill your cup, and help other people, and not just go sit in bed all day or go under the covers or go to bed at like 7 o'clock at night. You know what I mean? It's like all a mental choice. And sometimes we forget that. We let these thoughts and we let these outside opinions and we let the world take over our control of our thoughts, but it's you. You're in control of it. And you're that person who can rewrite your story. You're that person who can flip that page to a new book, and we'll all do it together. Yes, lady, the decision is yours. Does anyone have anything else that they want to ask these beautiful ladies tonight? Anyone have any like last minute, I need to say that, this is on my chest type of moments? It can be anyone, even if you didn't speak tonight. Sabrina? Katie? I always like.
I want to say something.
Okay.
Okay. So like, you don't realize that when you join this business, and like, because Courtney said yes, that I said yes, that Debbie just said all that stuff because everyone said yes, you know what I mean? And then like you meet all these people and they become, am I echoing? What is that? Okay, I don't know why I'm echoing, but it just like that just like blew my mind. That like, I'm Debbie, like when did you join like the first year that I was in, you know what I mean? And it's just like we've like had serious conversations and stuff, and I don't know, that just really, really got to me. But I'm just like so proud of everyone that just talked. That's it. That's all I had to say. That was on my chest.
Yeah, and she's right, because like, I don't know, but you think about that down the line somewhere, like when you said yes to something, like Tish just said how I said yes to this business and plugged into, thankfully plugged into Jade's team because I feel like we've learned a lot about personal development and growth through her. And she's so transparent in her journey. So if you're not on Wake Pray Slay, make sure you're plugged into there, especially in the next couple of days. There's going to be an announcement coming out soon. So on Wake Pray Slay, Jade goes live often. So whenever you can catch her lives, listen. And then Tish followed my story for a year, joined the business. Debbie followed Tish's story, joined the business. Now everyone else like under there or even throughout our team are changing their lives, not just financially, but emotionally and like and physically. Brett wanted to talk, I guess.
Sorry.
You okay? He said physically and mentally and emotionally. He's in the background. He's pepping us up in the background. No, you're good. So does anyone else have anything? I'm going to end the Zoom. I'm going to actually end the recording.